All right. It is Wednesday. Sorry we missed you guys last week, but it was 4th of July and I was on the boat. Bad reception. Susan, you were in California too, right?
I was, and there was no reception anywhere.
That's our story and we're sticking to it, right?
Amen.
So today is a special treat. We got Justin and Roy from Doorking. They drove up here in hellacious weather, right?
Yeah. It's 122.
So it's probably a few degrees less. It just feels like 122.
Yeah.
It's probably 119.
It does.
But, so no overheated cars or nothing. You drove separately, right?
Yeah. From different areas. So.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys making it. And you brought some equipment for the Fence University. We really appreciate that because we're super excited. Doorking is one of those companies that supports anything and everything education-wise in our industry, and you always have.
Yes.
And it's a huge, so we thank you for, a huge deal, and we thank you for bringing all that. So tell us about your guys. I mean, most people, if you know Doorking, you know both of these guys already, but tell the people that don't know who you are. Roy?
I've been in the industry probably close to 30 years. I've been with Doorking around 8, 5 of which was with tech support. I also was on the training team, so I've been around that stuff, and I've been in the sales end of it, outside sales for about close to 3 years.
Wow. And I know if you called in, you probably talked to Roy.
Yeah, I was tech for a while. Yeah, I was one of the senior techs. Yeah.
I've definitely talked to Roy. Definitely.
Mario a bunch.
Mario's bunch.
Yeah. Great place to call. I mean, it's when they say, an American-made, American company, it really is. You call up and somebody's answering that phone. You're not sitting on hold for very long. It's typically somebody that knows the product.
Well, it depends on the day.
Right?
Yeah. we don't want to overpromise.
So let's all call right now and put that to the test. just call and ask anything. Go, hey, my gate operator's not working. See what they do.
Yeah, if you call it at 4:56, you're gonna be a little different tech than if you call it.
It's all about timing. It's all about timing.
We are 5 to 5 though, so that's pretty good. 5 a.m.
I don't know. I've never had any problems. I feel like when I call over there, I'm talking to friends. Like you really get to know the team over there. They're personable. They're kind. They're really invested in like what your situation is. And like if they say they're gonna call you back, they're gonna call you back. That to me is priceless.
Yeah, always.
And you get what you give. So, Susan, you get what you give.
But Justin, and Justin, I talk to Justin probably 3-4 times a week. It feels like. Yeah, I mean, even with the fence show and everything, you've been a huge help and an inspiration for me when I was getting all this thing going. So I appreciate all your help on that. So give them your background. You've been doing this forever too, though.
Yeah, I'm just in sales forever. I've done everything from power conditioning to wire and cable, manufacturing, circuit boards, and then into the door industry through safety with Miller Edge for close to 9 years, and then moved over to Doorking for a little bit smaller territory, which is awesome. And I've been here for about 2.5 years with Doorking. So And the reason for talking to you that much is because Vegas is my territory. So.
Yeah. Well, I thought he liked me, but I guess now
it's just comes out.
It's all making sense now. So you guys got some exciting stuff coming up, though. I mean, we haven't opened any of these boxes you brought. So, by the way, we'll have a bunch of videos on that to see some of the equipment they brought up for the training for the university. So we'll get some of those videos out probably in the next week or so. But DC, do we have any DC operators in there?
Not yet. It's on the horizon.
We have a DC line, but it's not brushless.
Yeah.
So hopefully, again, by the end of the year, we should have the prototypes coming out. Maybe on the shelves by then. But we'll have a full line of DC brushless operators, new control boards. They're testing them now at the factory. They've been just burning them in, and swing gates, slide gates, gearbox, clutch, barrier arms. All our line will be brushless DC, and we're really excited about it.
Are y'all going to need some beta testers out there? Because I'm sure we got a couple of people interested in testing that stuff out.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna be over your factory next week. I'm gonna bring my truck just to see, I'm gonna distract them or something with some donuts. Don't you have the donut shop right next to you?
No, you're gonna get tasered.
they got some high security area with some 9210s protecting it or something.
Or dig wood.
So if it's easy, it's gonna be a whole new circuit board too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the controller is going to be nice because it'll be the same controller across all lines.
Mm-hmm.
So the control board knows you operated by the harness.
Wow.
So you only need to stock one board, and the board will know. It'll be programmed via an app or by a thumb drive. It's going to have all the bells and whistles. They kind of came to us in sales and said, hey, if you could build the perfect operator, what would your dream list be?
Yeah.
And they pretty much hit every point. Anything we could think of. It looks like they've looked at that. So
well, that's a game
really
changer for these technicians out there in the field, not having to carry 5-10 different control boards. That's a harnesses. That's not a big deal. Like you can carry 20-30 of those because you're going to need to anyways. But I've seen the new control board. It's gorgeous.
The harness would be connected to the operator, so it knows when you unplug one and plug the other one in. It knows that it's a swinger or a slider or a clutch or a gearbox operator.
It's all labeled and it's just plug in.
Plug
it's
and
pretty
play.
much plug
It's
and play.
pretty simple. We thought about everything. We looked at everybody else's operator. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. And we poured our Doorking sauce on it, and this is our piece of equipment.
So is there any new features like cup holders or anything on the circuit boards?
There's a seatbelt.
I'm here. I'm thinking we should have some kind of cooler. But yeah,
each one comes with a Doorking hat inside or something,
right?
No, but I think what Roy was trying to say was, we had the luxury of sitting back and seeing what people did right, what people did wrong. So we'll try to take the best and put it together in one operator. So it is a little bit slower coming, but we're trying to make sure we get it right.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi access?
Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. They're talking about, and again, I didn't say this, 485 wireless between operators, or some type of wireless between operators. I don't know if it would be 485, but
it doesn't matter as long as it's there. That's so exciting.
All that stuff.
But you didn't say off the record, so you did say it. I'm just letting you know now.
You know we're live, right?
The only way we got him here is we told him it was a birthday party and there'd be cake. There's been none of that. So we have some ice and water in the back.
Yeah, we're all really excited about it. I mean, hopefully it'll be sooner than later, and I know everybody's pushing for that, but they want to make sure that it's debugged before we release it, before we get stuff on the shelves.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing with Doorking. It's just with any of our product, it gets tested rigorously before. There's a barrier arm out there that's been running for 2-3 months
since I started.
Going up and down.
A DC barrier arm?
Really? Not since I started. And so
it
was a different one.
I know those 1601s. I mean, they're just classics.
Yeah.
Those 1601s just run.
Yeah.
They just run and run and run. So I mean, they're definitely Doorking's been a huge part of my life. I think growing up, even in the access control business. I mean, going back to when I first started putting operators in, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago. I think I installed almost nothing but SL3000s and 1812s. That was my life. That was my life. Right? And I mean, we had those phone lines that it was all phone lines, and every one of them had a hum in it. So we had to put magnets at each end. You remember all the issues with that? So it was.
That was one of my big things, 1812 and 6100 or 9150. There's in Los Angeles, there's thousands of those out there.
Yeah.
And they're still running. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. That stuff is still out there.
5 years old.
Everywhere. We'll be walking down the street and Brian's like, do you know what that is? I'm like, it's an 1812. And he's like, no, it's an 1835. And I'm like, no, it's an 1845. And he's like, there's no such thing.
She just makes stuff up just to annoy me. He's like one of those people on, it's like you post a video on YouTube and she just starts like commenting about thermodynamics or something. You're like, that's not correct at all. This goes on for like 45 minutes over a couple drinks.
Yeah.
Yes. So what show was I at when I want to think it was IDA maybe? Is that the one where you guys had that telephone entry system with the camera? That's kind of new.
Yeah, that's the 2137. So that's what I was talking about. That's the commercial version.
Yeah.
It's in that Evolve. We're calling it the Evolve system. We have the 2112 and the 2108. The big difference between those two is one has a call button, the other one has a small directory for a small cul-de-sac or something like that. Those are fully web-based, camera, app. You see who's there. You can control the 3 relays, all that. The 2137 is like our 1837, the large display color with the camera, the app, talks to all our access controls. So that's our version.
The beauty is, whatever trackers you have out there now,
Yeah,
it's going to be backwards compatible. So
you can pull out an old system, drop this in, and use that auxiliary terminal strip. And
Oh wow!
And what about cellular versions of that? Does it have the toggle in it, just like the 2012, or is it going to be the separate 1800 080 system?
So no external box. So there will be a slot for a SIM or an RJ45 for Ethernet.
Nice.
And multiple carriers.
Over multiple carriers.
And that's exciting.
So everything will be inside. There'll probably be some type of puck that fits on the bottom for the cellular, or you use a hard wire into the RJ45 for Ethernet. Camera, again, app.
Multi-tier app. So
multi-tier, exactly.
You'll have your management, and then you'll have the residents.
I think there's 3 levels to it. There'll be management, which will have all access. The resident will have access to incoming calls with the video. And then you have kind of in between if you want to control just relays and not video, but you can mess with that. There'll be a new cloud that will handle that. It will also handle the older stuff. So the new cloud will kind of take care of all the systems. You only have one cloud for everything.
So I know y'all do this really great hands-on training. It's usually a 2-day course. Are y'all going to start integrating that into the training course so that people can start practicing on the new cloud software system and integration?
Yeah, hasn't happened yet, and that's why we haven't done. We used to do 20 or 30 of those a year. We haven't done that as many. We're doing smaller ones. We're actually doing one next week at Doorking at the campus.
Is it called Busted Knuckles?
Yeah.
Is that what I don't know why I just wanted to type that in. It sounded cool.
We used to call it that. There was part of it was called that. But yeah, we're doing a 2-day next week. It's on our website. If you go to the seminar dates, you can sign up right there. The 2-day seminar. There you go.
Can you scan that right now on the screen?
You probably
could. Let me try. This one is for the one in August.
Oh, is that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This one's for the one in August.
Smaller one next week. I don't know how many people we're going to do.
Well, I think our capacity at the training center currently is 10 because we've had to.
She just scanned it.
It worked.
There you go.
So come on, you guys, everybody scan that right now. Let's get signed up for that August.
Seriously, I've done that 2-course training. I've done it like 2 different times. Once in New Orleans and once in Baton Rouge, and it's an amazing class. I learned a lot. You bring your laptop. You actually learn how to input stuff. You actually wire stuff up. Like it's full hands-on training, but they also, sit down and go through the technical side of it as well. Like it's a super, super great class. Like if you have the opportunity to go, it doesn't cost very much. And they feed you, and usually pretty good.
Yeah, take some food. There's always giveaways. Everybody goes away with a tool bag.
Everybody, yeah.
Giveaway too, so it's well worth the small fee that we give, and that's mainly just to keep people in the skin game.
So typically, though, when in the access industry, to attend one of these classes, $600 to $800.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We just want you to have some skin to show up because we don't care if you register, but if you register and you don't show up, then that takes a slot from somebody else. And we had that happen a few weeks ago.
Right.
People just registered. They didn't show up, but we had 10 people waiting because we had a limited space.
I said I'm sorry. This is getting, really, it's like the 3rd time he's mentioned it this week, and he had to bring it up on the show. Right? I'm sorry, okay? Never ends.
Yeah, I think we kind of postponed those, across the nation ones until we have some new products. So, next year for sure we'll have the new entry systems and we'll have the new operators, and we'll go over those. But the nice thing about Doorking is you can always get wherever your rep is in that area to do a small training if you need it. Just get a hold of your your
Local
regional,
RFM.
your regional, and he
Yeah.
should be able to.
Paul was
I
our
guess-
guy down here. If I called Paul, he'd be on the road in a heartbeat to help anybody out. Yeah.
And one of the reasons I'm going down next week, obviously besides now I know there's free food, but one of the reasons I'm going down is because you guys are one of the few people, if the only one I can think of, unless there's more I just don't know about, that actually, when we say made in America, right from the circuit boards, on up. So you guys build your own circuit boards, and I saw some videos of the machine and stuff in there. So that is really cool. So tell me about that and why. What's the advantages of, why would you want to do that? Everybody else is going and having these things made out of the country and bringing them in. I don't know about everybody else. I don't know, but you know what I mean?
We're one of the only manufacturers that still repair boards. It's good. That's both ways in that, but we can do that. We test everything on site. We have everything there. We have almost a full city block in Inglewood, California.
Wow.
250 employees. But it's a family business, and they want to keep that way, and they want it. The quality control is huge. We want to see that. If you've never noticed, you open up a gate operator or a circuit board, you're going to see a sticker with somebody's name on it that has been inspected. We do all that in house.
And I think one of the thing is, if you remember back in COVID and stuff, a lot of people were scrambling, and they couldn't get product down. There were delays, and I think some companies are still affected by that. Doorking was the one with the least issues with that.
We never completely shut down.
Yeah,
we always partly open
because we could do that stuff in house, and we're not relying on a supplier or something else coming in. We can make changes there. We find something, we can make changes on the board level, not just having to connect with somebody and rely on that. But then again,
it gives us a lot more control over quality.
And 76 years though, manufacturing in California, that's kind of crazy if you think about it. But if you started around that time, that was different. Electronics was different before, right? Now it's more of a disposable, throw away your cell phone every 6 months, grab a new one. But back then it's like, hey, you could reuse that board. But I think environmentally that's more sustainable, right?
And I like that. There's pricing. Because you can get a price on a board or repairing a board, and that's not very
even
few places.
Upgrading. We still have some upgrade programs where if your revision is high enough, you don't have to buy a brand new board. You can just say, hey, I want to upgrade this to the latest revision, and it's very competitive as far as getting the pricing done. I think it's great.
Yeah, I can't. Like I said, I can't be any more excited to have you guys here. Doorking, like I said, it's been a huge part of my life, so it is really cool to see it. What did you guys bring today with you? What are we going to be unboxing tomorrow?
So I put that list together. It's pretty much a Doorking staple, right?
Yeah.
The 1837 90 series unit. So that system's been around, and it will be around. The discussion was, why can't we maybe we should hold off and get the new products in here?
Yeah.
But my thought process is these guys need to be trained, because they'll be servicing this stuff for the next 10, 20 years. Because that's how long this stuff stays in the in the field. So it's good to learn about this stuff. And as we get the new stuff, then we're going to funnel that in here. But 1837, we've got the 1838 controller in there for locations that don't need a telephone entry.
Or an
don't need
add-on
call box.
they need more doors than what the phone system can handle.
Readers, tracker
We brought
boards
some
and
wireless
stuff.
too, right? We brought some of the wireless stuff.
Yeah, we brought wireless to show them that our system could do both wireless and hardwired at the same time. And then
controls.
so that way you've got hybrid areas where you can wire one building, but you've got other locations where you only have power, but you can use wireless. So you can use both at the same time, and obviously the connection boxes and the 2112 with us, using your network connection. So that way you could check out the 2112, play with the app, get on the software, see how easy it is.
That's the residential web-based phone entry system.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So has the cellular changed much? When we first started hooking cellular up with the 1835s and stuff, we had a box that went behind it. Has that changed at all? Has some of that been moved inside on some of the new units coming? Or
the new unit, again, the Evolve is all going to be on board. So the board's different. Everything is on the board. So again, RS-232, 485, Wi-Fi, probably some Bluetooth. the cellular and the Ethernet connections all going to be on that board. So there's no external device has to be plugged in. You just bring in power, probably some relay out, and that's it.
So that's the eventual evolution, right?
Yeah.
So, I just found out though recently that it's not going to have like all that at the beginning, but it's already set up to do that.
The board is capable.
Yeah, the capability is going to be there, and then we're going to gradually add those
We got to
options.
get it out.
But there's so much demand for that product now. It's like, oh, let's get it out, and then we start adding these features.
Yeah. So say you're talking to somebody outside of our access control world, like a fencer that doesn't do as much on the access controls and doesn't get involved, hasn't done as much as besides just hooking up phone lines and stuff to these things and maybe some basic cellular stuff. Why is it important to have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth? What's that going to do to the systems that's going to change, or what would be the benefits? Or
ultimately,
how would we use that feature?
You know, having options, right?
Yeah.
Because then you won't be limited. And one thing I always do when I go on job walks with customers is always try to educate the end user too, because they're not always aware. They're thinking the phone line, they've always used that, they're going to use that, but come on, the POTS lines are going away.
Yep.
Those phone lines are deteriorating. They're not going to replace it, but the phone companies charge you a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
I was on a site where if they cut the phone cord, on those 7 buildings, that would pay for their entire upgrade of the 7 buildings in 1 year.
Yeah.
That's a big difference there. So it's all about future proofing because technology is going to evolve, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that now. So you prep for that, have that basic structure there. So when new products come out, it's just this easy swap out.
Yeah, and there's some labor and things like that are involved. This, pulling wire is one thing, and then everything's going wireless. Everything's going to go to an app. Everything's going to talk somehow. I don't think Wi-Fi is going away. Bluetooth is there's different styles of Bluetooth coming up. Yep. There's a lot of things. Everybody wants that versatility. Using your phone as a credential, let's say, all that. We need to move with that. And that's where that new board is going.
And one thing, though, it is more convenient to go wireless, but then it's always better to be wired. Right. It's just a reliability issue because I don't know if you noticed, but your cell phone, the connection, it drops calls, it'll do funny things, right? It's not 100% because
I have an Android, so I don't have those problems. But I don't know what you guys have. I don't know. I mean, you might be Apple phone users or something, but
I've got both. So there's no escaping this. But it's we're evolving with the technology, right?
Yeah.
So none of the technology is perfected. So you have to kind of understand that, hey, we're going to have these. And use that as a disclaimer with the customer, because when they're educated ahead of time, you're going to run into less issues. Set that expectation,
Yeah. So on the Bluetooth, I'm assuming so you can connect to an app. You guys have an app as well, besides what's going to be the software that's going to for the telephone entry systems that are coming out. Tell me about your app. I know you have a smart gate app? Or?
So that's going to be the thing too, to be able to diagnose stuff on the app with the operator. And eventually be able to connect it with Cat 5 or Cat 6 and get it, IP based, so you can monitor.
Or whatever you have in place.
Yeah.
The big thing that we're competing with right now is that people want to use their phone to get into their property. They want to use their phone to use and that's one of the things we need to do. So if that's going to happen via Bluetooth reader or just using your phone as a credential or some kind of QR. The new board will be capable of doing that, and it's going to talk to our new operators too. So,
but you've got to do all the above though too, because we have to think there's a whole older generation there, right? And usually those are the people that own those houses and those properties too.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure when we're putting out the new stuff, we got to take care of them as well.
Yeah.
So with our system, I know that there are other call systems out there, but they don't actually call a phone line. They'll call an app. We do both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing that our system doesn't require on the web connection to run the system. So if you lose your internet connection, your doors will still open.
Right.
Right. We're still on a chip. I don't know of a lot of the newer systems that do that. Doorking's going to try to stick to that. We don't want to lose access if you lose an internet connection. that's one of the things that the new commercial ones are going to do. We're trying to again, like Justin said, we're trying to keep up with all the new gadgets, but at the same time, we want it to be robust and we want it to be secure and we want it to be reliable.
Yeah.
And that's Doorking's been known for being reliable.
You just build a sturdy machine. You always have.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm one of those old guys, man. I mean, give me some limit switches and,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
as soon as they started taking limit switches out, I'm just like, well, I don't know. How am I supposed to, what am I supposed to do? There's nothing to adjust.
It really sounds like y'all took the best of everything out there and like really took a bite out of it, like went hard, went strong, and like you're going to offer all of those amenities that people really want. And so now I understand why it's kind of taking so long, why we've been seeing little snips and pieces at other trade shows. Like y'all are building the excitement, and I think that's exciting. I'm sorry.
Look at me. I can't wait.
Yeah. What Justin was saying, the first iteration, the one that's going to come out right away, is probably not going to have all the bells and whistles. It's going to have the video, it's going to have control, it's going to have access, but we'll have room for growth on that board. So that's where we want to be.
Like you said, people can't wait, right, Susan?
We need it out right away.
So we want to get it out, and then with these features, it's capable. We're just going to add it as we go.
We've been showing it at the trade shows, and it works really well, and people are really excited about it. And that's one of the things they ask is when.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised at how low. You know, we were at a trade show and somebody got the wrong internet package, and we had 1.3 megabits.
1.2 down, and it still worked.
Huh?
We still had video and call, so that's kind of crazy. Inside of a convention hall. So.
Yeah, the worst environment you can think of. It would still work really well. I was really surprised.
Worse than outside right now?
Nah, nothing could be worse than this. You know?
So speaking of trade shows, you do a lot of trade shows. I mean, a lot of trade shows. I mean, you guys are always on the road. So
this guy does a lot because he's got Vegas. So.
Yeah.
I met most of them, I think.
Yeah, most of them.
Not as many as you.
How many do you think you do in a year? You do more than most, right? Who do you think in your company does the most trade shows?
I don't know. I would be one of the candies. Well, Jack, obviously Jack for sure. Jack and maybe I don't know.
You or me?
It'd be a lot.
We're up there.
It's a lot. So there's not too. If it's gate operators, access controls, even some of the alarms.
I mean, there's a lot of little ones too, but yeah, the big ones we're going to be, and we go big.
Especially in this territory, you know, Vegas is where all the conventions come to.
I hear it's the best place to do a trade show. I mean, I might be biased.
Well, and I know y'all are I know y'all are doing some education sessions for the Finch Show and Security Expo as well. I believe residential solutions and then vehicle mitigation as well. Y'all are going to kind of go over crash rated products. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't realize how many different product lines you offer. Like even from traffic spikes, something as simple as that. Like people don't even know that. Like all the way up to crash rated products. So I think that's exciting.
That new crash stuff is super cool. That's what we're going to do there at the Fence Show. I think one of the trainings on that the crash stuff, and then the other class we, as you said, on the residential or access solutions.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the 1601. I mean, I don't think if you can find a more sturdy barrier arm than that. I mean, I must have personally put in just 50 of them, and I've sold a ton of them. I mean, I've shipped those your 1601s. I've shipped the traffic spikes, and a lot of people don't know you have the traffic spikes and the barrier arms. Your parking controls are just well built. I mean, they're out there. I mean, everything from the in ground to above ground and mounted. And I've shipped those to Afghanistan, Africa. I mean, it's amazing.
And we're continuing to improve on it. Yeah. Every time we run into something, we'll improve something. That's why when you see a lot of the revisions in there, it's that constant improvement because
a lot of design changes.
Yeah.
We see an issue. We see something that could be better. People, that's one thing about Doorking. If you see a problem, they look at it. Hey, this is hard to get to. We just talked about that the other day. We changed the way the 1601 is situated so that it's easier to service. The lid has changed a bit. Even aesthetically, we made it now where there's no exterior bumps on it. So none of the bolts are outside facing. There's no carriage bolts. They're all interior. They changed the hub design. They changed some of the geometry on it to try to get a little more torque out of it.
And there's still going to be more
More
improvements
changes.
coming.
I'm really looking forward to the DC, brushless version of that. It's going to be incredible.
And built-in battery backup automatically without
Yeah.
having to do that. So that's
See, and
that's
that all
huge.
comes back to that
Yep.
manufacturing in-house there, because then we can make changes
Mhm.
down to the board level.
And you have the one, is it a 1601 with the spikes? What do they call it?
Auto
1603?
spike, yeah.
1603 where the auto spikes below it. So when the arm goes up, the spikes lower. So they're in sync.
Yeah.
They're kind of, it's linkage that connects it,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
So
mechanical linkage,
so you
right.
can't have the arm up and the spikes up at the same. It just doesn't
Yeah.
mechanically work out, right?
Right.
And that helps with noise, because in areas in really high end areas.
And I think we can go a bit taller with the spike, because that's an issue with these newer tires.
Yeah.
That the spike can only be so tall when it's a spring loaded or weighted, whereas if it's a mechanically and goes up with the arm, it can be taller and it's more effective. Yeah, at stopping people from rushing.
That's Spencer's with our big old trucks.
No, we're doing that to stop school buses. I had a dealer down in Orange County just put in a brand new arm that was hit, and the school bus came in and ripped the new one right off. He didn't have time to pack up his tools yet.
Yeah, you got to.
So they're putting in the spikes.
Yeah.
Robert Everett. Hey, Robert needs a new Doorking hat. I got you one.
Come on.
We'll get it out to you. They just dropped off.
Yeah, I brought him.
Yep. I'll make sure and save him one.
He's got the goods and he's got no excuse.
So what's your next show you're at? I know ours is until September, so there's got to be something in between there and now, right?
In between now, there's a bunch of different tabletops. There's some trainings and stuff that we're doing, and some smaller shows. I think I'll be here in at the end of the month. I'll be here for the Aloha show.
Okay,
That's that locksmith
Yep.
show.
I'll be walking
at the South Point. So yes, I'll be here for that. And then
do you have a booth at that as well?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Fold out or
It's 10 by 10, so it'll be a table, and then I'll be here with Jack. So
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Sounds like I have a reason to come.
you do.
You're going to be out. I'm sure you'll be out here probably. When do you come out for the show? You come out like a month in advance almost, right?
No, not a month. 2 weeks.
Feels like
I'll be there on the September 1st.
Yeah, let us know when you're in LA so we can give you that Doorking visit too.
Yeah.
Brooks wants to know when you're coming to the Fence University. He's here right now.
I've been here. Where the heck is Brooks? Yeah, we'll do some classes and stuff. I think we just got to coordinate. Our schedule with the trade shows and all the training. So we weren't planning on any of the training this year because we were waiting on the new products.
Right.
And so I mean, we're that close in that we didn't spec in any classes this year, because typically we, like Roy said, we do 60 people classes all over the country. And so we were holding off for the new products, but then people were getting anxious and asking us, hey, can you do stuff on the legacy products? Because there's still so much installed out there. We'd like to know how to do all that. So that's why we had a lot of these just quick pop-up, smaller training events. Yeah.
Well, real quick, because I know we're getting towards the end of this thing. Give me, not just me, but everybody else on here, a quick rundown so that everybody understands that you guys are more than just a gate operator company. Obviously built in America, been 76 years now?
Yeah.
75.
76 now.
76 years now.
Wow.
You've been around. And so you're doing this a while. So you've learned a thing or two, right? So you figured it out.
Not us.
The Doorking itself has figured it out. So give everybody an idea, just a quick overview of what beyond gate operators you do, right? And the keypads, access controls, gate operators, the hardware. I mean, just a quick.
So
quick
non-hydraulic crash. So non-hydraulic crash stuff. It's P30 rated or PU30.
PU30.
Yeah. So that's all up. It's running. It's good to go.
Yeah,
And we've been shipping.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of airport jobs where these systems are out there. The rental car places.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a great product. Again, it's surface mounted basically, which is
So less, machinery or,
it's completely mechanical.
excavation and stuff
No
like
hydraulics, none of that stuff. So,
But it's a full system. If somebody has a gate operator location, they're trying to a community they're trying to gate off. It's pretty much a turnkey operation. I mean, you guys got it all: gate operators, photo eyes, keypads, card readers, remotes, transmitters, controller. I mean, there's not pretty much anything missing. You guys
elevator controls even.
Yes,
People don't even realize that.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I didn't even know that.
I sold a couple of those systems. They're scary.
Yeah,
they're not as scary as you think.
Yeah.
Again, get one of us involved. We can help.
I did. Don't worry.
and that's the same with the installers too, right? So being an old school kind of company too, we'll show up on site. We'll do that job walk with you.
Yeah, big part of our job is to walk jobs and help you with parts lists and talk to the customer if you need that. It's kind of nice to have a factory rep with you when you're trying to sell a job. It goes a long way, I think.
Great. Well, I appreciate you guys coming. I know.
Thanks for having us.
I know I kind of threw you on here at the last minute, so didn't give you a lot of prep work, which I appreciate you being willing to do it. Susan, you got any last thing you want to say? I know you were excited to have them on, so I appreciate you coming on as well, all the way from down there. You got some storms right now, though, right? We're lucky you got power.
We have power. We're having like just rain cells, like nothing crazy. So, no, I'm just excited. I'm excited about the new control board that's coming out. I'm excited about the new DC brushless operators. I'm excited about the new telephone entry, all kind of built into one with the insert for the SIM card. I'm excited for y'all to be at the Fence Show to teach the education courses. Like, y'all have a lot of value to bring to our show, and I appreciate that so much. And I appreciate the partnership that y'all have with us.
Nice.
Oh yeah, we'll support you guys. Especially if you're educating them on safety and the right way to do stuff. Yeah. So
and I'd say I'll see you guys in September at the Fence Show, but I know I'm going to see you guys next Wednesday or Thursday. So
yeah,
your training. So we'll next Wednesday I'm going to be going live from JC Gurry in Is it Anaheim over there? I believe JC Gurry's right out of Anaheim there, so not too far from you guys. So I'll be going live next Wednesday from JC Gurry with Mark and Mary. That's pretty exciting. Jared Twist is going to come down for that as well. So we will see you guys next week, and I will see you guys next week.
Awesome.
Thank you guys all for tuning in.
All right.
Bye, Susan.